Testing. Hello, hello. Great. Thank you guys for still being awake. We're very fortunate that this is one of the better attended stages. So we're very happy to share our stories and what we're working on. So I am Alex. I am the head of institutions for Asia at Aptos Labs, and I'm today joined by our dear co-founder CEO. I'll let you guys do the software intro for a minute.
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay, cool. Well, I learned my first bit of Korean, so I can practice it. Moto keonaseo. Wake up. Everyone wake up. That's but amazing to see all of you here. I'm Mo, co-founder and CEO of Aptos. I used to work at BlackRock. I used to work at BCG, so there's a lot of BCG blood here. And I worked at Meta, and I worked at Facebook, and before it was Meta, where we were building a blockchain designed for 4 billion people. Today, that blockchain lives on. It's called Aptos, and we're excited to get into it.
Hi, I'm Eiji Kobayashi, leading the effort of Securitize in Japan. I've been with the crypto/tokenization business for 5 years. More of my career is on the TradFi side, starting with Merrill Lynch and Goldman Sachs, sort of the stuff to be replaced. So I look forward to this discussion today.
Hi, my name is Sean Park, who is leading Web3 practice in BCG right now in Hong Kong. I started my consulting career almost 30 years ago, back in 1995, and I left BCG, and I was working at the CJ and Kakao and the Netmarble as CEO job, and then I rejoined BCG. And then first job I did is I started the Web3 consulting project, the most conservative consulting firms in BCG. So I think the BCG is the most, sometimes once we confirmed and very comfortable about the innovation, we are the most radical consulting firms in the world. So that's why we decided to work with the Aptos together. And today, it's a great honor to share some of our progress together with you guys.
Great, thank you guys. And Korea is a very special market for us, and we've been here for a while, ever since we launched our mainnet. And so naturally, it's also the best place to kind of share, the major steps that we're making for institutional related initiatives. So I guess the first question for Mo is, we did announce Aptos Ascend in May this year, earlier. And I'm guessing a lot of people don't exactly know what that is. So maybe it'll be great to quickly explain what that is, what that covers, but also why we are here with our dear partners Securitize and BCGs. And maybe the second question is, what are we doing with Securitize? Yeah.
All right, 2 questions in one. Thank you. So the first thing is, I guess, going back to our days at Facebook, we realized if you want to move money across the world, peer-to-peer or for commerce, you need money to work the way it does today. But you needed to move more efficiently. And you want to be able to move it in a way that it's familiar to people. And those 2 parts are really important, because if you think about that money movement, whether you're at Morgan Stanley or you're at Franklin Templeton or a large financial institution in Asia, you're going to want money to move the way it does today with the rules that it does today. And so Aptos Ascend, which we announced earlier this year together with BCG, Microsoft, SK, and Brevin Howard, is designed to provide the same features, the safety, the rules, and compliant products and feature sets that allow you to, again, move money. If you can move money, you can also move other things, other tokenized products on top of that. And so when you look at either equity products, debt products, or other types of commercial products, you can have the same benefits there. And so if you can imagine creating new portfolio strategies, new tokenization models that can ultimately lead to better risk models, you can now have either the money movement or the actual financial product all in that same ecosystem that's familiar to the same large institutions that are out there today. So that's awesome. The user experience has to be on par, ideally better. And so with Ascend, you have great integrations with either partners like SK, which we talked about earlier, but even other ones that we'll be highlighting in the future. So you have a wallet, you have custody, you have and you have forms of money, but you need financial products. And so together with Securitize, as you guys think about which financial products will ultimately make their way on chain, we do get a sense of how they can move, again, with the familiarity that everyone wants. These are regulated assets. They can't, move around in the way Web3 feels, too fluid. You want to provide those assurances. And so together with Securitize, we're excited to be the network that can help support that. The most important thing is what Aptos does. Right? You need a network that's going to be reliable, it's going to be safe, it's going to be secure, and it moves in much more efficient ways than the financial system today. We support throughput with thousands of transactions per second. In fact, we hit 500 million transactions in a 24-hour window. That's 10 times greater than Solana. 10 times greater. And the network didn't go down. And the cost did not change. That'll make BlackRock, Morgan Stanley, all these financial institutions very happy and very comfortable. And now Securitize has that benefit of Aptos.
Yeah, and I think, you know, kind of moving on to Securitize, you know, we did announce earlier this year that we were, you know, partnering up with Securitize in the US, but actually, you know, we have Eiji-san from Japan here, and it's very interesting that they've looked at this from a very global lens as well from the get-go, and we'd love to know, you know, what exciting stuff you guys are working on at Securitize, but also especially in Japan, and kind of what is the scope of work that you guys are covering there, and what are exciting stuff that you see? Yeah.
Sure, thanks, Alex. As Mo put it, more and more institutions are actually active and more serious about tokenization. We worked with BlackRock and BIDO recently, started like several months ago, hugely successful. Fund tokenization is with also Hamilton Lane, few funds, and KKR in the US. In Japan as well, large institutions are actually quite active too. Recently, we worked with Sony Bank, for example, SMTB, Nomura, and institutions also not necessarily cover financial, but also corporate, large corporates as well, like Marui, for example, or JR West, or Kagome. Working with institutions is actually something. It's very complicated. It's very detailed. Of course, they are. I mean, they have a lot they have to sort of be concerned about the existing business as well. But anyway, it's a great learning for us. We should be able to comply with what they are actually asking for, and our solution becomes actually even better and is the institutional grade, like with when we working with Aptos as well. So that is really great. But to do that, we need to look at what institutions are concerned about. One first and the most important one is compliance and security. That is something that we should be very keen on. The second is probably the flexibility or some elements of customization as well. Large institutions have their own way of doing things, and for reasons, so they don't want to change. It's really, there's no point of negotiating whether or not they want to change that. But I think we should be able to flexibly adapt to that so that that works best for them as well. And the third is reliability or confidence, so to speak. Of course, the institutions do not want the system or platform to fail or have problems either. But at the same time, customers or end users also come to the institutions as well for confidence as well. So we can't really break that. So that element is very important. And they're very confident that working with Aptos, we will be able to achieve these things. And probably the most important is cost efficiently.
Yeah, thank you so much, Eiji. And just to stay on you for 10 more seconds, I do think it's very important to highlight that tokenization is not just a buzzword that happened this year. I think it's very interesting to share. How long have you guys been in Japan already?
5 years.
Exactly. So it's been around for a while, and this is not something that we just we invented this year. It's a buzzword, therefore everyone's doing it. We have very serious companies and solution providers who have been working on this, building relationship, trying to regulate, talk to the regulators and the institutions for the past 5-6 years, and that's why Securitize is successful today, and that's why we're also happy to be partners with them. So really appreciate that.
Thank you. Just to give you an audience and color, on top of the fund tokenization, we in Japan actually pioneer a lot of other stuff as well. Like we have done a US dollar denominated tokenization, the first in Japan by Sony Bank recently. We're also doing the self-offer deal, which is an offering of a debt securities directly by the corporate entity, not through broker dealers. That's where the tokenization actually counts. most recently, we have done the film or movie tokenization in Japan, the first one as well. So there's a lot broader range and color in the tokenization activities, which is very exciting.
Thank you, thank you. Now, Sean, I know you're craving to share your thoughts. You cannot control yourself. So, a very easy question for BCG is always, what are the trends? What are things that are, exciting for you guys to kind of, think about looking forward? And I guess also, right, why this partnership with Aptos? And, what can the audience expect to see from us?
I guess this is a very long considerations and a lot of stress for you guys. Where is going to be mass adoption use cases in blockchain world, right? Everyone is still searching for it. I mean, even though there are so many trial and error, but I believe, frankly speaking, there are not that many sustainably successful use cases yet. But we had a strong belief this is going to be the first one, which is going to be tokenization, tokenized asset. So when I first met the Mo and the Aptos team, this was exactly the team I have been looking for, because these guys are coming from Meta, which means they know the real world, and they always dream big, and something they want to create the sustainably growing real one, not the niche one. They want to address the real one. And then we talked about the Project Ascend together. And how can I say? We find there's some clear gap between the regulator, between the financial institute, and between the the investor. So we came up with the concept of the permission public blockchain, where regulator can be feeling comfortable about the compliance and also security issues of those information. And Aptos is a clearly beneficial one, because they can very easily provide the system level, on-chain level controls and the monitorings and everything. So that was like a really good for the regulator. So I cannot tell the detailed story right now, but BCG and Aptos together, we make it very concrete and the clear use cases right now with the regulator. So that news probably will be coming soon, but we will make a very, how can I say, large use case. I mean, a lot of guys talking about, I've looked at it, but many tokenization opportunity, but to me, it looks like a two niche cases. But I think the real size of opportunity is coming from money and fund. And the Aptos has the same visions, and their network is perfectly fine. So all we have to do, BCG together, is actually make a more affordable and acceptable product to the regulator together. So that's actually why we work together, and then we are making a real use cases right now. So my advice for you guys, you need to find very concrete use cases to the market, acceptable to the market, and sustainably growing. It doesn't have to be so sexy, sometimes. It needs to be very obvious, clear benefit, disruptive benefit to the system, to the institutions, and to the regulator, and to the users and investors. So that's why we are working on this project Ascend together. I think probably 5 years from now, it will be really massive. And you realize, oh my God, at the time, Mo and the Securitize and BCG Sean's comment probably were right. So that's why we are working together.
And Alex.
Oh yeah, Alex. No, Sean, no Aptos Alpha. You did good. You didn't spill the beans.
No, I mean, to Sean's point, I do think that we are one of the few, infrastructure who are willing really to spend time with the regulators, make sure that they can trust us, put a face where there's a body that's, because a lot of people say decentralization feels like a machine that moves without the head because you can't really find the head. And I think for us, right, I mean, they know where to find us. So that's very clear. So we have 5 minutes left. I think we're going to close it up. So how about if each one of you shared one wish /hope/thought to either the regulators, the industry, institutions that you think will be essential to ensure that we actually move past the stage we're in right now and actually unlock massive opportunities moving forward? Mo?
That's almost an easy one for me because I sit on the CFTC Digital Asset Committee, and so I could make my wishes, very, very obvious to them. But I think Sean raised a great point, right? Like, if you want that obvious use case to come to life, it's sitting right here, right? And forgetting about the throughput and the reliability that Aptos brings compared to everyone else, orders of magnitude, as I mentioned, compared to other protocols. We're bringing it with ways that is, again, familiar to everyone, right? So if you're a large institution sitting in this crowd, you probably did not expect Hana Financial to be sponsoring the stage, right? 5 years ago, and here we are to the point of tokenization is here. And so, our wish is doing things in a safe, reliable, and responsible way, and doing it with a partner that's going to make you feel trusted, right? So you can go to sleep at night. And that's the protocol that we built for 4 billion people at Facebook, and that's how we bring, this very obvious use case to life. The last thing that I think is also very important is it's not just about 1 billion users, and we're definitely excited about that. The second thing that's really important is getting $1 trillion of value on chain. And $1 trillion of value on chain is going to happen when assets that move markets are going to be tokenized on Aptos. And obviously, we're very excited about that wish coming to life.
Thank you, thank you. Eiji-san?
Yep. Fortunately, we have been actually very, very busy with a lot of follow-on and deals and pipelines with existing sort of efforts. So that's good. But in my view, we are actually far from being there in terms of tokenization, what it can possibly achieve. To do that, I think that, thinking about Japan, I just met the SEC commissioner this morning, then talking about various things, but my comments are limited to Japan. I think that if the regulator can work with us and help us, not only Securitize, but all of us in the ecosystem to achieve what the tokenization can actually do to the market, that would be really great. The few sort of immediate hurdles I can see are, one is the secondary market. The other, in Japan specific, is a public chain thing. All the deals so far done in Japan are private chain, so which is not really, particularly exciting, so to speak. If the regulator can help us and work together to get over these hurdles and move really to what the tokenization can really achieve, for example, like DEX, for example, it's a hard issue, but that would be ideal for me. And that's something I really like to propose that we work together with the regulators.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sean?
I mean, I have been quite struggling to find out the real use cases when I was even CSO and CEO job in Kakao and the Marble. Like frankly speaking, when I participate this kind of conference for the past almost 7 to 8 years, most of the items are still same. You guys are talking still same topic without any slide, and same talking, and you guys are complaining about the regulator. You guys are complaining about the existing legacy system. Bullshit. Come on, that will never change. My personal advice: you gotta focus on the. You need to make the product and the use cases which is acceptable by the regulator. Maybe Trump can change the world, right? But you cannot expect the world will accept this Web3 concept or tokenization as it is, because it's too big, it's too radical. So, which means you need to make a very specific on the use cases which is acceptable to your customer, to your regulator. That's why we are working with the Aptos together. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. We're right on time. Thank you, everyone. And thank you guys for joining me.
Thanks to our last